Welcome to the Fempire podcast for women building empires where your health, relationships, and wealth rise together. Here we focus on what moves the needle the most. I am your host, Jessica Joy. Let's sharpen the axe and dive in.
Our guest today is Lisa Concepcion. She is the founder of Love Quest Coaching and what you could call the tough love life coach for women. And she helps women heal deeper patterns that can keep them stuck or stalled in love so that they can really thrive in their relationships as much as they do in their life. And a little background. She worked in global PR. She was the director of marketing for Grant Cardone for a season. So she understands high performance, being an alpha female, and still balancing relationship. So Lisa, welcome. We are so excited you are here.
I'm so happy to be here. This is great.
I know, what a blast. So Lisa brought a gift. It's a free love life assessment. We will talk more about it at the end, but stay tuned. We'll give you the details on how to get that. Lisa, you and I were talking about your background and share with the audience a bit about what you do and how it all unfolded. It's such an amazing story.
Sure. Okay. So I am a certified professional life coach and an energy leadership master practitioner. It's just a fancy way of saying I read vibe and I teach people how to read vibe in other people in other circumstances so they could thrive in life, right? Everything is energy, right? So I started my coaching journey back in 2015. It all started with my mess, which was a divorce that I did not want, but life has a way of directing you into something else, even if you think that it's not what you want. I don't want to go over there, but life will ease you in. So have faith. And that's what happened to me. And when I was divorcing, I realized through talking to a therapist, because I was just beside myself with grief over this, the failure of this marriage. And so the therapist gave me the word codependency. And she guided me through where it originated in childhood and asked me a series of questions that set light bulbs off in my mind about how I was showing up in relationships and why. And so I took that word codependency and I ran with it. I went on YouTube. I was searching everywhere, blog articles, the podcasts, you name it. I was gobbling it up, reading books. There I am with my highlighter pen and my notebook, like really trying to get this handled. And so one of the things that I tried to do and did do successfully was I held myself accountable by going on social media. I had a very big following in Facebook at the time. That was the one. And I told everybody what I was going through and what I was doing to heal and that I would be making some radical changes in my life. I was one of those social butterflies who would escape through partying and nightlife and not, drug use or anything like that, but, some cocktails and a lot of dancing, a lot of good music. I was living in South Beach, Miami at the time. So it was forever summer and there were the boat parties and the whole lifestyle, right? And I was very much about that. I had to shut that down. I had to say, listen, you cannot escape anymore through this codependent external validation, external attention to fill you up. You have to be inside job. You have to shut it down, stay home, just get into your daytime activities, get into your mind, body, and soul. Wake up Saturday morning instead of 11 a.m. because you were out till 4 a.m. the night before. Now you're going to wake up at 7. You're going to go to a spin class. You're going to be a different regimen, right? Because you're becoming someone different, right? Codependent Lisa used to live this way. Now you're going to be a new version of you. So I put that out on social media. And I wasn't a coach at this time. I was marketing. I was doing marketing, writing and website rewrites and things. And so I knew nothing about business. I was like a salary girl, So it changed my whole life, my entire post-divorce journey, and people seeing me online, videos, telling my story, a whole thing, what I'm going through, what book I'm reading, what I'm learning. It inspired them to reach out to me and have conversations with me. And I would do it. I'm like, sure, I'll talk to you. Why not? Like, I'll share what I'm reading, what I'm learning. And this one man said to me after 90 minutes on the phone, he said, girl, I have to pay you something. Like, I took 90 minutes of your time. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Don't worry. He's like, no. Like, this could be a business. Like, you have a gift. I've spoken to you for 90 minutes with you than 5 years of therapy. Like, you made it all click for me. I was like, really? He goes,
Mhm.
yeah, like you should consider doing this like as a side hustle and see if it turns into something else. I said, okay. So he says, I'm going to help you set up your PayPal so I can pay you. I'm like, cool. Had no idea. So he helped me set it up. I did all the thing. Boom, in comes the money. And I was off to the races. So more people same coming to me. Can I talk to you? So I said, this is kind of delicate, right? I'm talking to people about very delicate matters of their life. And I feel like I should have some kind of accreditation or some sort of formal training in this. So that's when a fellow PR person that I worked with in New York, she became a coach. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, what do you do for like an accreditation with this? Like what goes, girl, I've been seeing you online. You want to go to where I went. It's called the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching. It's a great journey. It's 10 months. And it's just such a blast. You're going to meet great people and you're going to actually learn a method of coaching. You're going to learn how to really deal with the energy of people, right? And it's going to help you as a person too. So I said, fine, let's check it out. So, almost like 10 grand later, I'm enrolled. I'm like, let's go, right? Action taker. So I started that in 2016, 2017, got certified, and I was off to the races with coaching. So then it became more and more people coming my way from referrals and then building the business up a little more and more and learning all of the intricacies of, running the business and stuff. And that was that. So I've been coaching ever since. And I've been taking my message to social media and just all about empowerment and, just helping people have the tools so that they can have effective change and lasting change.
Exactly. Wow, I love it was such an organic journey for you, and I think that is evidence that it's a true calling, honestly, when it was spilling out of you before there was any certification, you know? I'm
Right.
curious, since you've been in it so long, how have you ended up it's kind of like niching down where it's like, oh, you really get a groove for this aspect of it and helping this type of person. Or, where are you at now in terms of specifics? Because there's, overarching relationships, but
Mhm.
what would you say is your specialty within them?
So interesting. Has a ebb and flow. And it's so fascinating how sometimes I will have a season where all I'm enrolling is men. It's all these,
Mm,
maybe my messaging is hitting with them, maybe the subject matter is hitting with them. Then I'll have a season where it's all single women and they're all between like 30 or they're like in their mid 20s, mid 30s, and they're in that, oh my God, I have to find somebody, like my life is passing me decisive, but I'm decisive. It's those types of women. And then I'll have a season where it's couples, where they'll like see a video of my husband and I, and they're like, oh, I saw a video of you and your husband cooking in your kitchen, and like you guys are so fun. And I want to be fun like that in my marriage. And like we're kind of a hot mess couple right now, but we love each other and we're just revolving our life around the kids too much. Like, can you help us? It really depends on where my messaging is coming from, what people are seeing my life being on social media. A lot of women, they can relate to being a woman, me, who was in that corporate, get it, New York, social, public relations, and now just kind of softened. And I'm just like, I'm a coach and I hang
yeah.
out with my dog and I hang out and cook with my husband. And then, like, she's a baddie,
Yes.
but she's like chill. Like, she's got this kind of
Yeah.
energy to her.
And
So I
like
think a lot of
freaking
women
fun.
they want to strike that balance. So that's been a big one with women. So like for the purposes of this conversation, the women that are coming to me, they are the achievers. They are the I do it all and I'm tired. I don't want to admit it. In a room full of women, I'll admit it. But in the world, I'm a baddie and I got this. But when I get to my retreat or if I'm, having sushi with my girls, we're all like, girl, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I just want a dude to like meet me where I'm at and like lead a little bit so I could just kind of relax and, have a bath and listen to this type of podcast, right? And work on my inside self as opposed to like hustling and grinding all the time. So yeah, so it's
Mhm.
a lot of that. There's a few articles that I've written about that masculine feminine polarity. And I joke around about, even a challenge that I had to overcome being from New York, a Latina. I mean, it's like, dude, you got to simmer it down if you're going to attract a masculine man of leadership. You're trying to take the lead all the time. You're going to attract men
Mm,
that are like man boys, these little wimpy, like,
yeah.
mommy, show me the way. And you're going to get tired and you're not going to respect them.
Yeah, you'll be more tired. No. Yes. So
And then
I'm
you're like turned
curious.
off. You're turned off by it.
Yes.
You get, what is it? The ick.
Mhm.
You get the ick.
It's so important, like, what you're putting out is going to be balanced in relationships, so if you're always the leader and the driver, then it just crowds out that energy for him to
Yeah,
take
like the
that. I'm
polarity.
curious, what is some of your feedback about Yeah. I'm a big believer in masculine, feminine energy and balancing it in relationship. I've heard different coaches kinda have different takes, where some it's like, "Oh, when you get home, drop into your feminine," and some it's more fluid. How do you what's your take on it? Like, how do you wield these 2 energies to complement, what you need to get done during the day and also in your relationship?
So I feel like a lot of it is mindfulness, but also as it pertains to what you're feeling in your body. So you have like a
Mm,
lot of women out there who are doing yoga and Pilates, and they're like in a doing mode, but they're not really feeling their body. So, for example, if
right.
you are in conflict in a
Yeah.
relationship and you don't get out of your head and into your body, you're not going to feel the shortness of breath and the pang in your heart when your person comes at you in a certain way. So when you're communicating from your head and you're going to be very defensive and very combative, right? But when you drop into that somatic where you're like, oh, if you say to your man, you put your hand on your heart and you're like, my love, I don't like arguing like this with you. It hurts my heart. They're going to stop fighting with you immediately. As opposed to, you're being an asshole. This is how this is. If you make me say it again, we're done. It's a different thing. If you take a breath and you just, because you're mindful, you're like, my God, when we fight, I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my heart. Like my heart is breaking from this conversation, right? See the difference in that? A man is going to be like, and it's not manipulation. It's truth. It's you saying, or it could be my neck. Like you start going like this when you fight, or you get fidgety. You feel you're cracking knuckles in your wrist. Pay attention to your body because it's where it holds your stress. And a feminine woman acknowledges her body. She's very intuitive of her body. She's like, I don't like having these conversations. It makes a pit in my stomach. I get very nervous. Right away, his voice will lower. You'll sit back, let him take the lead, give him a second. I'm sorry I raised my voice at you that way. It's true. I shouldn't lose my shit like that with you. It's true. Cause it's like reminding him, I'm a girl. I feel things differently than you. Right. And they love that.
Mm,
So it's not
mm,
being like wimpy or certainly not being manipulative. It's just having this genuine awareness of how you want to be spoken to, how you receive conflict. And it's very diffusing. It's very disarming and it brings everybody neutral. It de-escalates. And a feminine energy is that it's a de-escalation energy. A woman comes on the scene. Imagine this. You have the dad, 2 boys, they're roughhousing in the living room, they're play fighting. Feminine mom comes on the scene, she's like the queen. She doesn't have to say a word. She just stands there and she's like, well, hello, my boys. Instantly, they stop with the play fighting. The boys pick up the pillows that fell on the floor. Hi, mom. You have to say, what the hell is going on in here? This is chaos. I didn't raise you to be this way. What are you, one of the kids? Nothing of that. She just
mm,
glides into the room and she's like, well, what's going on in here, boys? Mom's on the scene. Let's get it correct, right? It's that.
mm.
And it
Yeah.
translates to business also. It really does. When you
Mhm,
have multiple people that you're managing, you're on a call and they're all chaotic over something that might be a challenge in the business and you're able to kind of hold that presence and you're breathing you're breathing in so that your lungs are full, you're grounded, your feet are planted on the ground, you feel good in your body and you're just let them and then they look to you, right? So I take it we have some challenges to work out. We'll get it done. We're smart people. We're going to figure this out. All right. And then you get
mm,
into it. They look at you like, oh, thank God, the feminine energy of the woman who has confidence and faith that we are going to come to a conclusion and a solution with this. It's
mm.
leadership. It's very powerful
Yeah.
leadership.
Yeah. Ooh, there was some gold in there. How to drop into your
I hope
body
so.
to release the tensiveness. Yes, I think, and I loved what you said about how your body is where your stress is. And so, okay, before the mind takes over, drop in and just notice. It's so interesting. Like, even right now, I'm like, if I'm stressed, I'm like this. It's like, what do I actually
Right.
want? Okay. So that was such a good shifter. And how, like, I love when we can take the tactics out and just come into the body and use the body to guide. It's like so much
Yeah,
easier,
because
honestly.
when you're living in your head too much, you disconnect from your body. And your
Mm,
body,
mm,
like the book says, your body keeps the score. So
mhm,
when you're operating from here and you're very go, 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 logical, which is great and necessary. It's not to say that
mm,
this is not, it's completely necessary. And in fact, a lot of masculine men adore that about the feminine woman because she is balanced. She can be in love
mm.
and emotion. She can vacillate from one to the next. She's not full tilt emotion and she's not
Yeah,
cerebral logic because that's like being with another dude. Feminine
yes, the
woman is that
balance is
blend
hot.
because she's right, right. So like a masculine, yeah, like my husband, for example, super masculine guy, but he'll come to me to talk to me about his work because two things. One, he has that energy that he wants to vent out and he can communicate on that. I have a business sense, right? So we can chat on that level, but really he appreciates the more intuitive line of questioning
Mm,
or of what do you think is going to happen? Not you should do this and maybe this guy shouldn't do this and you should make his role this. And no, I'm not here to manage. He knows his business far better than I. So I'm just here to receive what he's saying and then ask him curious questions to help him arrive at the conclusion. And that's what empowers men. That's when you hear men say things like, thank you so much, the Academy, for this award. I couldn't have done it without my wife. There she is in the front row, right? That's what you get when you could be that to your husband,
mm.
or your partner, or even your brother, your coworker, any man on the scene that you could elevate, right, in your life.
I love those types of questions. I could tell you're so good at it.
Yes.
Okay. When it comes to high achieving women in relationship, what's like one thing you really want to get across that would help them deeply?
So, high achieving women in relationships, few things. Get super clear about who is running your life, right? Is it you, adult you, being high achiever because you just love business and it flows and you're in an ease and flow? Or is it the 16-year-old version of you who only got attention from her father when she achieved? So, you need to be really in tune with, am I running my business as my adult self, or is there a wounded part of me that's just pushing and going for a reason, a valid reason that I have yet to unpack and heal? So there are a lot of women out there, I've worked with many, where when we drill into this and I simply ask them a question of, when you were a teenager, who gave you more credit when you succeeded? What was success about in your high school years? Like, what was that? Oh my God. So a client of mine will say, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I had an older brother and he was like the golden boy. So I was always in competition with my older brother. And then in order for me to get any attention, mainly from my dad, I had to excel, great in science, great in math, great in all of those, because my mother, she was the feminine matriarch of the house. My mother was like a makeup artist and she was just artsy and I was not that. So she didn't feel she had a
Mm,
place. Right? So the mom getting attention from the brother and the father, being in her feminine, like a little hippie, right? She didn't know who to be. So she's like, well, I can't compete with mom. That's mom. I'm not going to steal my mom's thunder, but I can compete with my brother. I'm good at sports. I'll do that. I'm into competition. I'll do that. So she lost doing things for the joy of it. She was doing it for the attention of it, for the accolade of it. So when she shifted that, she realized, whoa, like, my God, like I've been running my business from my wounded 15-year-old self who's trying to compete with brother, as opposed to my adult self who knows who I am, who loves competition, but also likes to chill. And I like to create and I like to write and I like to do Canva and I like to do all the things that are fun.
mhm,
And I was getting rid of those things and giving them to my assistant and my graphics person. Meanwhile, she loved doing that, right? And she was delegating wrong. She was delegating so that she could do the harder stuff, so that she could say, look what I did. I succeeded. I pushed through. Instead of being more balanced and saying, no, I'm going to do the things that I love to do. And I'm going to hire an accountant and a bookkeeper and a marketer to do all the things. And I'm going to play on Canva and make my brand pretty and coach and do, her business. So this was like a massive aha for her, because she was able then, through one of the things that I teach, the modality, it's inner child reconnection and reparenting. She was able, through a method that I teach, to connect with that inner 10-year-old, that inner 13-year-old, and give her the assurance and the language and the care and the concern and the attention and the praise that she was always seeking. So when you start giving that to yourself, and in this case, she was starting to give that to herself, she didn't feel this competition thing. Everything, she stepped into flow. She was like, I'm doing what I love. And the business increased because of it.
Lisa, it's just obvious what an expert you are, because your first answer was like a deep root that's driving all the behavior. And it sounds like the method that you teach them just clicks them in really well. Like
Well, the
that
thing
changes
is,
somebody's life
these
once they
these
uncover
women,
that and
okay,
are working on that.
right? And these women are all
Yeah.
about efficiency and effective. Like,
Hmm.
women who
Yeah.
are high achieving, they hire a life coach because they want results. They don't want to be in the la la canoe of, let's talk about this and spin around in circles for 4 weeks. No, they want to be
I
like, I
know.
want a
Like, what's the
breakthrough
point?
moment in
Get
every
to the
single
point.
session, and so my job is to get
Yeah.
them that, to create these moments where they're like, oh my gosh, I get what I was doing. Now I can do different. You showed me how this feels good to me. I'm going to switch to doing this. So it's
Hmm.
a much more like efficient, effective, way of coming
Yes.
to a result that sticks to.
Yeah. Yeah. Get to the root of it. And like you said, then they can operate more in flow and like just honest truth of what they really want to do, not because they're trying to compensate for what they're not getting or
Could you imagine?
glorious.
For so long, she said that she was in her business purposely seeking out more difficult things to do because she had her dad in her head, right? Programming, hi.
Yeah.
Push through the hard stuff. It's what makes you great. This is what gets you hugs and love from your dad. Push through the hard stuff. It makes you great. Yeah, it's true. You're not going to be a wimp about it, but don't seek out the hard stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seek out the stuff you love
Yeah.
and be fulfilled, right? There's no reason
Mm-hmm.
why it should be doing all the numbers stuff if you're not into that. If math is your jam and you love the QuickBooks and you want to be in that world every other day for 2 hours, girl, light it up. Pour some wine and do your QuickBooks. But if you're just like, I am not a numbers person, I do not like the money part, I'm hiring somebody for that. Because, push through the hard stuff because it's gonna make you great. Like, dad, hippie mom's over there making her art project. She's bare feet in a skirt, twirling around to like Stevie Nicks music, and like you're loving that. So it's confusing. It was very confusing to her. This poor girl, she's like super confused because she's like, I never knew my place in my family. She's like, I couldn't compete with my mother. My mother was like gypsy hippie, like full on bare feet doing art.
Yeah.
And I love that about my mom. But in order for me to have any standing in the family, I had to compete. Sad, but a big
Yeah.
breakthrough for her. Big. And I'm sure, a lot of women can relate to that. Maybe they don't have like that daddy thing of competition and whatever. Could be a sister, right? It could be a sister in the family. You could be one of 3 sisters. And like now it's competition. But, oh, I was the smart one. They labeled me as the smart one. So now you're that identity your whole life. If I don't succeed, who am I? So now you're pushing because you have this label put upon you. But really, in actuality, you would rather make jam and have 3 kids and do a at-home business. But you're like,
Mm-hmm.
lawyer, gotta do it. I was labeled that. A lot of people with me, they work on identity work. We do a lot of stuff around identity. That comes in handy with a lot of women who are in their 50s, a little older, and even some in their 40s, where they shift the identity from, I was like this hustler, go get it girl, all of my 20s, all of my 30s. I met a dude and now I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have a kid. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know who this person is. How do I become this person? And it's just like, I have to do this, but I want to do this, right? It's that push pull. So there's a lot of identity work around life transition, going from 9 to 5 to kind of don't want to go back to work. I have this kid and I want to be at home. I want to be my boy and I want to raise him. I don't want to work for daycare. I want to be hands-on. I even want to homeschool. That was big post-COVID. A lot of corporate moms giving it up, being like, I'm going to be full-time mom and I'm going to homeschool my kids. Massive identity change.
Whoa. They'd be really good at it though. Wow.
Easy.
Okay. Yes, the identity work. And it's like there's different seasons in your life and the transition of it all. And I love the deeper work that you do with people. One of the things that stood out to me when we connected was how you talked about being the tough love coach. And I love be direct, be forthcoming, but how would you describe that for you? Or what would you want
So
people to know? What's the difference between tough love? I want to hear from you.
So I always say tough love is love, right? And I always affirm my clients that they're very intelligent. You wouldn't be hiring and investing the way you're investing in a coach and your personal development if you weren't intelligent. So the key to all of this is personal responsibility, personal accountability, stoicism. And so when I hear a client talking crap about themselves, I'm going to butt in and be like, don't talk about my client that way, flat out. What do you mean? Well, you just said that you're this, this, this. That's not who I see. Is that really what you believe? It's really about asking the questions that makes them stop in their tracks. And they could be very confronting questions, right? Questions that require people to really, really look at themselves with grace and love and connect and be truthful. Because if you can't be super brutally honest with yourself, then this work gets a little muddy, but it gets nice and crispy and tight when you can say, I do this and I want to stop. When I'm in a relationship, I'm all a total baddie until we have sex. And then I'm anxiously attached and I want 20 messages a day. And I don't like being that way. And I want to know why that is. So tough love me comes in and says to them, okay, why do you think you do this? Where do you think this is coming from? Right? What's the switch in you that clicks? I don't know. That's why I'm hiring you. Okay, but I'm not in the bed with this guy and you. I'm not there. I'm not in your head. So,
Yeah.
talk to me about your attachment. Talk to me about what is said to you, right? Tell me about your relationships when you were a kid with the men in your life. And, I don't want to talk about that. That's, my dad and we don't really have a good relationship. Okay, let's start there. Come on, Lisa, we're going to start there. That's the thing. So I always say to people, coaching is a lot like if you imagine a mansion and this is the mansion of your soul and it's scary because you don't know really every room. You think it's empty, but you and I, coach, me and you, we go in that mansion. We open the door. We get the spider webs out. We start looking around at what is going on in here. Why? Because this is your home. This is your soul. This is where your soul is going to reside. And every single room has to be prepared for you to bring in all the abundance that this is going to be a fulfilling life. Right now, the house is empty. And as you go room by room, right? Room number 1, daddy issues. We'll call that daddy issue room. All right, everything cleared out? No, it's terrible. There's a hole in the wall. We have to patch this. We have to do that. Right? You do the work. You
Yeah.
heal it up. You move on to the next room. Oh, this is my mother. She's so judgmental. Okay, judgy mom room. Let's handle that room. You go room by room and suddenly the light starts shining into this house. You smell better, and sometimes the house can be sneaky. Sometimes you're looking at your house, you're like, this place looks great. The house of my soul is clean. But then you're like, wait, what's that smell though? There's a rat in the wall. The rat in the wall is that ridiculous relationship from 22 years old that broke your heart, or some belief about men or about business, whatever that's holding you back. You think it looks pretty, you're ready to move everything in, but you're like, something smells funny. Right. So a coach like me will help you. What is that stink? It's the buried beneath the wound that's holding you back. And then we get to it. Then your house is shiny and great. And whoever you invite in can feel that positivity, can feel that clean energy. And what you welcome, it's a magnetic force. You want to be in that home. You want to be, soul connecting to your soul. So that's kind
Mm,
of the analogy I look at. And there's a tough love aspect to that because it could get very scary looking for the dirt behind the corners of the rooms, right? Gets very confrontational. Let's put the light on in here. No, I don't want to. It's scary. We're putting the light on. I look at it like this is not a do you want to? This is a we're doing it and I'm with you. I believe in you. You can do it.
yes. We already decided you're here.
Yeah. You paid me a
Yes,
lot of money.
absolutely. I love the
You paid me a lot.
differentiation, but it's like,
What kind of coach
keep
would I be if I'm taking your money and being like, oh, you just want to sit
yes.
and hang out here and talk about lip gloss? Okay. Like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. We're going to talk about the dude who broke your heart in sixth grade, in seventh grade, 12,
And
high school, what you looked like in high school and how you were a late bloomer. I didn't get my body
mhm,
on point till I was in college. Okay. That affected your identity. So you carry some of that with you. It's in your little house. Let's clean up that. So it's a lot of the
mhm.
tough love aspect is, listening for things that people are saying that only underscores a limiting belief and phrasing it in a way that makes them stop in their tracks and say, huh, because I'm like, well, how is that belief serving you? Like you can believe whatever you want, but is the belief serving you? No, it's not serving me. It's true. I keep attracting unavailable men who like under earn and are kind of losers and they smoke weed and play video games, but then they want to be like, what is it? The trader. So they trade, they do make day trades and then they think that that's just the way that it's going to be. And they work 3 hours a day and they make money, but then they're spending it on weed. And I don't like that. And I keep attracting those kinds of guys. And it's like, okay, well, let's look at that, right? Like, do you know the kind of person that you want to be with? Like, what are your standards? What are your boundaries? What do you do when you meet a guy and he appears all shiny and nice, but then after 2 weeks, you're like, this dude's a day trader and all he does is smoke weed and like play video games. But like he's making bank, he drives nice cars, apartment's nice, but I don't know, something's off. Do you stick around or are you like, no, this isn't my guy? And can you make that decision quickly or do you get attached? And if you're like, well, there's potential, I can make him into the shiny thing and I can maybe get him not to play video games all the time. And then, you have visions of like, oh, and then in 3 years, they'll be married and have a baby and he's not going to be able to play video games. No, it doesn't work like that. That's the tough love. I come in with the reality, right? Like, dude, a Kia is never going to be a Mercedes, period. Kia is a Kia, Mercedes is a Mercedes. You cannot make a G-Wagon out of a Toyota Tundra. Like, it is not going to happen. So yeah, but it's fun. Like I make it fun. And also
Yeah.
I would say the tough love approach too is it's just an attitude. It's a New York, no BS, black and white. This is, how you're thinking and how your thinking is going to be damaging. And it's the whole analogy of like you got something in your teeth. Like that's me telling my client
Mm,
that mindset is the spinach in your teeth. It's the toilet paper on your heel. I have to point it out. And they love me for it.
yes. I think
They're
that's
like,
the gift. Like you said, it creates the clarity instead of the muddiness.
it
And
creates
you
the
can just get
clarity and
moved through so much faster.
it also affirms their toughness. They can take it. They're respecting themselves
Mhm.
again. Cause I always
Ooh,
preface it. I'm
yeah.
like, I wouldn't be taking this tone with you one if I didn't think you could handle it. You can handle it. You can handle more than this. And then you see them, their posture changes. Yeah, you know what? You're right. This guy is mooching off of me. I'm like, girl, you're going to be paying
Mhm.
his car insurance. And like, do you think you're going to get oozy in the panty for a guy that you're paying his car insurance? No. And then I crack them up. Like they let, cause I'm very blunt. And us girls, we could be crass. Us girls
Yes,
in a
okay. This is
conversation
such
with
a
just
great
us girls.
balance of like adding some humor in there. And I loved the
Always.
analogy of mansion. Like, I think that's the best work you can do to enhance any area of your life. But of course, relationship, who you're going to attract, who you're like open to seeing, who is just At this point, like, you can kind of tell when you've done your own energy work, like, oh, this person has not done theirs. Like,
100%.
ooh,
And this is the best part of
yeah,
that mansion. Imagine
yeah.
the door. You're fortified. You're in like a
Mhm.
gated community. You have a person that has to announce somebody to come see you. Like your boundaries are on point. Cause why? You did this work on this
Mm,
home. You're like, I went through every room. I healed everything. I cleaned it up. So you think I'm going to invite
yeah.
any idiot into this house? I worked very hard to maintain this house. So your boundaries
Yes.
start to get very, very clear and sharp, not in a repelling way, but in a I'm open and cool with everybody, but not everybody gets into my house.
Yeah. And then it would impact every area of your life, how you're operating in business, how you're operating potentially as a parent, how you're operating and how you're treating yourself. Like the inner work is it's like a catalyst for if you want to change on the outside, anything
Oh
else.
yeah.
So
I have this
I really
client.
respect everything you're
And
doing.
I have this client, and her thing was she was very overworked and very go mode, and she needed to really learn how to take time for herself, right? And empower her husband to
Mhm.
do more with the children. So I put her on this, I was like, what do you like to do? Like when you want to unwind, what do you like to do? She's like, I like to listen to podcasts and I love to soak in a bath. And I'm like, okay, so when is mama's bath time? Right? She's like, I go, do you have a situation in your home that kiddos can be with dad getting ready for bed in their bath and you can be in like master bath? She's like, yes, I have that. And I go, what is currently happening in your like soaking tub? She's like, I put laundry in there. I go, girl, no, this is your sanctuary. This is where the queen gets a soak every night from like 8:30 to 9:30. You're in there. That's you time. Someone has to be bleeding from the eye in order to interrupt mom, right? Can we do this? So I said, I'm holding you accountable. I need to see photos of the bath bombs. I need to see the bathroom set up, the candles lit, the whole thing, just to let me know that you've done it. Do this for like 5 times and then you're going to be on your way. And they're like, amazing, do it. What happens is we go, I'm like, how's bath time going? She's like, I've done it now for a week. She said she has a little boy, he's 6. And he knows mama's taking bath time. Like, I can't go in there. I'm not allowed. The dad said, go ask your mother if she can help us find whatever for your shower, the extra shampoo, where she stored it. The little boy said, no, daddy, this is mama's bath time. You can't go in there.
Yeah, dad, figure it out. You got this.
And then the father is like, all right, you wait here. And he comes into the room and she's there in the soak. And the husband is like, I know I'm not supposed to talk to you, but I'm getting shampoo. She points to the closet. She keeps with her eye thing on. All right, I'm leaving. She's thumbs up. He left. I go, they're respecting your time. Do you feel how great
Yeah.
that is when your little baby boy even is being trained to say when a woman wants her alone time, she needs her alone time? Could you imagine? A little 6-year-old
Yeah.
knows mommy needs her time. Have to respect mommy's time. He's going to be
Yes.
like
That's
that
teaching him
with
self-love.
women later in life.
Yes, exactly. It's like that's how they'll learn it. So then he'll respect his spouse more the time she needs. And anyway, beautiful. Yep, it all gets passed down. Lisa, thank you so much for your expertise. Like
Thank
so
you for having
many
me, Miss Jessica.
nuggets
This was a
here.
delight. I love it. Florida.
Yes.
In the house. I needed some Florida sun. I miss it.
So Lisa brought a gift. So it is the free Love Life assessment. And if you are on the replay, wherever you're at, whether it's on email or social, you can comment Love Life assessment or just Love Life. We'll get you the link and we'll link it in the show notes as well. But Lisa, tell us a bit more about it because it's such a great opportunity. So I want to hear from you.
So the Love Life Assessment is this tool. You are going to love it. It's basically a line of questioning with an open-ended box. You can blab however much you want in it. Questions about relationship patterns, what you want in your life. Just it helps you to get very focused and it gives you the platform to just share whatever is going on, ask your questions, etc. I read it over myself. It's not like a bot AI machine thing. No, it's me. I respond to you probably within 72 hours with a full report, question by question, item by item. You come away with clarity, you come away with things that if you are in therapy, you could bring it to your therapist. I've had many people do that, say it was a huge help. Get your highlighter pen, sit with your girlfriends and go over it. And or just use it for your own launch pad for your own healing. And then and also it
Mhm.
comes with a way to work with me further if you're inclined to do so after reading the report. but you love it. A lot of people love it. They get a lot of good use out of it.
Oh, I love that there's two options and you can start with a report and sheesh, I know you'll get to the root of things for them. Go, I'm diving in. That just sounds like a blast, honestly, to get your take. And it can really just be a catalyst for somebody's whole life to change. So you can find Lisa also on her website at lovequestcoaching.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Lisa. And we will see you
Thank
on the other
you.
side.